Deciding on the best platform, you'll notice that, we have two full steps that can often take several months to a year before you actually go about choosing your technology. That's very deliberate. We often do come in to organizations once they've already fallen in love with a piece of technology, only to find that that technology is actually not best suited for their organizational needs. It may represent something that a small faction of people in the organization are excited about or want or think they want, but not necessarily what the majority of end users are going to get the most value from. And so, really, when you've done the work in the previous stages, now you're ready to look at technology. And I know it's hard. I'm a big lover of technology. I'm always racing to see, oh, well, this looks really cool. I'm sure it's going to be perfect. But try to restrain yourselves. Now, once you are at this stage where you really have that thorough understanding of what you're trying to deliver, you can start narrowing the field and making sense of the ever increasing landscape of intranet tools. Um, there are out of the box and bespoke intranet platforms. I know some sessions earlier today spoke about some of these. There's all flavors. We won't get into it during this presentation, but if you have questions, we are well versed in a lot of solutions. If you want to ask questions about any of them, happy to talk about that. But really, it's about clarifying the must-haves versus the nice-to-haves and the specific flavor of functionality for those key use cases that will kind of get you all the way to what you're trying to deliver. Um, what we always recommend is that there's a small but knowledgeable group of people, kind of the core intranet team, that vets the wider landscape of technology and whittles it down to 3 or 5 top choices. um, there's no perfect way to do this. You may find that you'd like to pick one of each flavor of intranet tool, maybe one SharePoint overlay, one that's a completely standalone solution, one that's maybe a kind of unconventional approach to an intranet, some other type of tool that could serve a lot of your use cases, but wouldn't typically be thought of as an intranet, and do it that way. Or you may find that you want to pick, 3 or more from the same class of tool because you feel that's going to work best for you. I think the important thing is once you've vetted these different options, you want to drive some very targeted demonstrations for your key stakeholders. So the decision makers, the people who are kind of at the top of the decision chain. You don't want to come in with that generic sales presentation from the software people, right? You want to have this be a very targeted, scripted session. What we like to do is actually give each software company a very specific script that walks through the use cases that are the highest priority for the client. And then they will hit all those same notes so that the people who may not be as well versed in vetting technology can really do an apples to apples comparison. So that helps the non-techie folks to take part meaningfully in the tech selection process.